Thank you for tuning in once again to his Vine and Fig Tree podcast. My name is Kurt Olson. I'm your host. I'm coming to you on the evening of November 30th, 2025. And this is going to be short for a multitude of reasons. One, I thought I was going to have one or two of my kids in on something that's going to wait till closer to Christmas and New Year's. Um, Apologies for that. But I did want to bring a couple things to your attention. One of them happened over the weekend here. One of them happened earlier in the week. First, the thing that's political. Um, there is some growing discontent in the House of Representatives with the way Team Trump is doing things. There was a report early in the week from someone who is called Punchbowl News. It's one of those uh, kind of uh, websites that's emerged over time, and um, um, they had kind of a major report on things that are happening within Republicans on Capitol Hill. I'm going to read this, and a lot of this stems from the Marjorie Taylor Greene um, announcement that she is going to be resigning from the House on January 5th. Now, there's a variety of factors being played here, but I want to put some things in context. But I want to read you um, a couple things. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who will retire from Congress in 42 days, announced the end of her House career Friday night in a manifesto of sorts that sounded many of the notes of concern we hear about President Donald Trump's second term. The crux of Marjorie Taylor Greene's message is that Trump and House Republicans are abandoning all of the president's priorities, falling into complacency, and are on the brink of squandering their razor thin majority. Um, it started with that last Monday, and it continued with this also on Monday. A few other the reporter is a guy by the name of Jake Sherman. Don't know anything about him, but I know a bunch of people who have used this information and they have offered comment on it. I've seen it from Eric Erickson, who's a talk radio host, who's someone that I also trust, um, because he's heard things as well. And I've seen some other commenting on it. So the second post, this Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News um, writes, was a few other GOP members messaged us over the weekend saying that they too are considering retire in the middle of the term. Here's one particularly exercised senior House Republican, obviously no name. Quote, this entire White House team has treated all members like garbage. All. And Mike Johnson, of course, that's House Speaker Mike Johnson, has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. That is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank and file. The arrogance of this White House team is off putting to members who are run roughshod and threatened. They don't even allow little wins like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even the high profile, the regular rank and file, random members are more upset than ever. Members know they are going into the minority after the midterms. More explosive, early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel, and they will lose the majority before this term is out. That's what's coming from an unnamed Republican on Capitol Hill. It's pretty explosive, at least inside baseball politics regarding what's happening within the party. And I mean, anyone who's been listening to me knows I have been very frustrated with Republicans in the House and the Senate squandering this opportunity that they don't know how long it's going to last, and doing a lot of things that are basically just letting Trump issue executive orders and not codifying much of anything into law. Because once a Democrat becomes president at some point in the future, they're going to undo everything Trump did. Because that's the way this game works if something doesn't become law. And this is a missed moment. All of the talk a year ago of a mandate and a landslide victory is frittering away on a lot of things. And one of the big ones is this affordability issue. I've mentioned it a few other times in recent podcasts, and I will keep saying it. If they don't have laser focus on this affordability issue, it is going to be the primary thing that bites them really hard early November next year during the midterms. And one can only wonder how many other Republicans nationwide will go down in defeat because of their myopia, their short sightedness, and so that is a huge political thing right now that's unfolding. Secondly, and this happened yesterday. I got home from work and I'm doing my normal routine. I'm getting dinner. I'm trying to catch up on college football because, my team was playing at the game and I wasn't aware of any of the highlights of that. And um, you got a bunch of other things going on. And while I'm trying to catch up on some stuff before kind of settling down, getting a shower, a couple other things, um, I'm seeing that the FDA has people in the leadership who have been looking at the VAERS reporting system, and this involves adverse events regarding vaccines. And the FDA put out yesterday, meaning Saturday, the 29th, the FDA, someone in senior leadership, put out a 6-page memo that basically says 10 kids, at a minimum, 10 children died after taking the COVID vaccine. And they don't name names of those kids. We don't know if they have informed those families. We don't know if there's any even hint of possible um, uh, possibilities those families can recoup anything because of what happened. But they're saying a minimum 10 kids died after taking the COVID vaccine. And frankly, this is the tip of the iceberg. Um, in the description to the podcast, I'm also going to link a story from Alex Berenson where he talks about how the Moderna vaccine, when it was being tested, there was a kid who died during trials. And I'll let Alex Berenson's reporting that he has done in the past, and he's reminding people of after the news of this most recent stuff. I'll let that do the talking there. Um, uh, but this is explosive news, It is the tip of the iceberg, in my opinion. But the rub is this: for people who want accountability related to COVID, like myself, um, I mean, I'm all in favor of Nuremberg style trials of people who were involved in this. Eh, all of the mandates and edicts, and we still don't know the real extent to which um, there could have been other harm to other people in other age groups other than kids from that vaccine. And I'm not sure our country, while there are people that want accountability, I'm not sure our country um, is willing to do that. Willing to, you know, COVID was an ugly time, and a lot of bad things happen, and people just move on and let it go. But I believe crimes were committed, at a minimum, fraud, and perjury, and with this explosive information, um, far worse. And one of the other reasons why accountability might not be within our grasp is because if this information regarding 10 kids, and a number that even the person who produced the memo believes is a very conservative and small number, and that it is likely much larger, um, how do you think the American people would respond to know that they thrust a, a medical uh, a drug on the American people that caused harm, and not just harm, but potentially widespread harm? Um, so um, it remains to be seen what will come of that. But uh, I think we could certainly expect there would be some hearings on Capitol Hill because of the information, and potentially other things. But full accountability, I'm in the camp. I'll believe it when I see it. Um, so there is that. So I will link an Alex Berenson story related to the Moderna vaccine during trials. Um, and then the last thing I will put in the description to the podcast is a something that Rush Limbaugh, if you remember El Rushbo, I listened to him. I can't say I listened to him frequently, but I listened to him enough to know his the connection he had with average Americans. And Rush Limbaugh, at Thanksgiving time, would read a piece that relates to the first Thanksgiving and some of the other things related to folks who um, were part of that. And frankly, having family members who came over on the Mayflower, not unaware of how long they survived in doing so. Um, uh, Pretty big deal. That piece from Rush Limbaugh runs 8 to 9 minutes, and it is worth your listen if you have the free time to do so. So that's all I have this week. Um, Working diligently to have perhaps a slightly longer podcast midweek as the schedule gets a little more normal. And again, and until next time, God bless. and goodbye.